What's up, guys and gals? It's your host with the most, Griever, as always, bringing you guys unfortunately, what we're going to have to call, for now, the final chapter of Miscellaneous. Now, this chapter came out actually just after Christmas, in 2021, of course, last year, and there's a reason I waited a few weeks to actually review this chapter. I mean, it was around the holidays and things were a little hectic, but not only that, the hiatus notice at the end of the chapter, right? The hiatus that band went on and is currently still on, and I was sort of wondering if things would calm down after the holiday season was over and after some things were settled on and off the Discord and things like that. Maybe band would say, okay, maybe jump right back to it. You know, give him a couple of weeks space and just see where he's at. But by the sounds of it, it's not that the comic will never return, but for the foreseeable future, it is not going to return. This hiatus is pretty indefinite. It's not a month break. It's not wait until band feels better or feels like drawing or anything. It's just he's sort of done. He's sort of done right now. He explains everything in his own words, both in the Discord and on the hiatus notice. So, yeah, that's the reason it took me this long to get to the chapter itself. And unfortunately, it's not much of a final chapter because this was not intended, of course, to be the last chapter of even an arc or a transition or a nice cliffhanger. It was just meant to be one of the stepping stone chapters leading into the next one. So unfortunately, only 19 chapters strong, and it's the end of the series as far as 2021 and probably 2022 is concerned. So that's my reason for waiting and everything, but it wasn't that I wasn't going to review the chapter. I reviewed every chapter, I streamed some chapters, and now I'm here to review the very last chapter. And before we just get into that, yeah, I'm pretty upset by the reasoning because I know a little bit of hearsay and a few of the details about why band decided to prematurely cut the series, and he's a bit of a bigger man than I am. I'm more petty. I know sort of what went on a little bit, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it one bit, and there are people to blame. Regardless what band Marsh taking the high ground about, it's over Anakin. I have the high ground level about it. That's great. I'm going to be Anakin burning in the lava saying, I hate you. You know, that's basically my stance on it. I'm petty. I'm grudge holding against a couple individuals for causing this, you know. And they know what they did, so that's all it is. But anyways, I'm not going to name names or anything. I'm not that petty, but I know that this was not band choosing to do this. This was a action, reaction, cause, and effect sort of idea. So, anyways, that being my spiel, since it's the final video, the final review for Miscellaneous, I feel like it was okay to blather on and do a couple of tangents here and there. So why don't we just get into the chapter itself? Because we do get to find out that Fuse is clearly a weapons user in this chapter. We're still following Clover. We never go back to the main cast, unfortunately, but here we're still following Clover and Fuse as they enter in to try to find the dimensional pieces, right? You know, because Solo is now working with an enemy and all that stuff, so that's what's happening there. Now, when they enter the place, of course, it's very RPG-esque, it's very story gaming style. Clover even says it herself, that it's like, okay, this is, you know, I've played my fair share. It's like, I'm going to go to this room. And Fuse is like, why? And she's, yeah, I just have a feeling. I played my fair share of video games. I logged 14 hours a day on my Xbox back in the day. I never owned an Xbox because I have standards. But I did definitely log my fair share of hours in gaming. So Clover's the same way here and definitely doing that. So, so she takes off for the boss room, right? She's a guild leader. She's taking off for the boss room. Fuse is left to handle the small fry, though quite a few of the monsters there are actually S-class. They have entered the idea of this, of course, the area and stuff in this pyramid, this temple, right? So apparently a weapons user has two weapons called, and they look kind of cool. They're sort of like kunai with chain sort of idea, you know, from the Yu-Gi-Oh game or from the card game. You know, Joey Wheeler used to use it all the time, or something similar to what is it called? Uke Taki's blade. Dushio, I forget it. I honestly, for some reason, his Zanpakuto name is slipping my mind right now. But the twins, right? The twins, like Pisces blades, sort of idea. And one is called Strength Zapper, the other one is called Soul Stealer. One seems to be white, and the other one is black, so they have a very cool indication. Very, very emo-esque, like the white blade and the black blade, and the definitely cool, sort of idea. But it definitely suits the character and stuff. And the artwork definitely improved in this chapter. I liked a lot of the shading that was going on. I liked a lot of the effects. I liked the detail to the clothing, how ruffled the clothing and the character models, how lanky they were looking and stuff. It just really worked for me. And then we jump away from Fuse after Clover basically leaves him to die because she does not give two shits. And then fights this very odd-looking monster. This very, got this weird, like, diamond-shaped head with all this stuff, and then they open up for eyes and stuff. Definitely going a little bit H.P. Lovecraft sort of idea. Definitely going this very, Pan's Labyrinth. Let's just make something a little grotesque, a little, like, out there sort of design. Let's humanoid body, but really screw up the face. It's like, where does the eyes begin? Where does the mouth end? That kind of idea. Band was going for this, and also pulls a weapon out of his own flesh and stuff. And the glob definitely was liking the improvement with the artwork. It definitely still got that sketchy style to it, but had a little more detail to the things that mattered. Like when he pulls out the weapon out of his own body, that's like, it's almost like gum, he's like, and really gross, but kind of cool, you know what I mean, for a character, for a monster design. And we finally get to see Clover fight. And Clover, of course, it wasn't just, I wouldn't have minded if Clover's ability had nothing to do with her being an artist. If she happened to like drawing, because I feel like a lot of shonens do that. No character can just have a hobby that they're into. It's like, oh, I'm really good at playing chess. It's like, my ability uses tactical, chess-like maneuvers, and I view it like a chessboard, that kind of stuff. Or, once again, I like drawing or painting, so their ability needs to be colors and canvas and painting, I make, pictures come to reality, like Sai from Naruto and stuff like that. I'm dark and emo, so I must use shadows. Like, nobody can just have a damn hobby, Like, I'm into sword collecting and doesn't fight with swords or weapons of any kind, So I wouldn't have minded it either way, but it's definitely a shonen trope that happens across many generations of shonen. And here we get the same idea with Clover. What she draws comes into reality. Now, at first, I'm thinking, this is incredibly broken. Not the fact that what she draws come into reality. We've seen these abilities before, and we know how they're limited. However, one big thing is the fact that she says her ability is life from the pen. So that is the name, and anything she draws with this pen can be brought into reality. Now, what happens if the pen breaks? What happens if it runs out of ink? What happens if, I'm assuming there's a multitude of ways to either destroy the ability, or, for example, if she draws Jesus, and he shows up, and he's brought to life, if they break the pen, does all her drawings go away? Do they fizzle out? Are these drawings made out of ink from the pen? Hence, would water-based attacks work? Right? If you drown them. That's usually a common one as well. Something that can be done. And another thing is, like there's probably a multitude of ideas with this, because I don't think it can't be as broken as it originally appears, and I'm sure Band thought of some contingencies for this, because it's not so much when we first see the ability come to light, right? Because imagination is also key here. But it's not just her drawings, because as the boss monster starts attacking, like a poorly drawn, cat and all this stuff, then all of a sudden, in comes, he goes on this whole speech, how he's like, you're a coward, you let your minions fight for you, you don't do anything for yourself, and stuff like that. And then Clover ends up drawing a version of him. She draws the monster she's facing. Now, once again, here's the question of limitation. This is clearly a monster of intellect. This cycloptic monster clearly has speech and intelligence to a degree. and she's able to bring another one into life. So could she draw Fuse and bring a second Fuse, like a clone of Fuse, into life? Maybe, maybe not. I would argue it seems that way right now. And if that's the case, going off what she says, this is my artwork, a being I created to be just as strong, if not stronger than you. And then she makes and then as we see, she makes multiple of them and stuff. And the art is really cool. And I like this idea that she just doesn't hold back. She's like, well, I'm just going to quickly sketch you and boom, bring you to life. Now you're going to have to fight yourself, right? And as she puts it, I just created a being stronger or strong as or stronger than you. Now, I don't know where Band was going with that necessarily, because by that logic, Clover should not be scared of Solo. Clover should not be scared of anybody, because Clover can simply draw something that she imagines to be stronger. The only way I can see, and this is a little bit of a, not retcon, but a little bit of a really, really sort of situation, would be the whole, she cannot comprehend the depth of his power. It's like the endless ocean, so she can't contemplate infinity, so she can't contemplate his strength. Like, maybe he was going to do that cliche stuff, maybe not. But outside of that, I'm sure Band had good weaknesses around this sort of idea, because right now, Clover feels broken as hell, and there was no reason she should have been sweating in any chapter that we've seen. Any chapter. But I definitely really enjoyed this chapter with all the different angles, and the fact that the boss monster had to fight himself and stuff, and Clover like really walked in there and just obliterated, just like, I ain't got time for you. It's like, okay, Clover's gonna fight seriously, but it's like, is she really? I mean, she's using her ability and she's using it to the maximum that we know, but really, she cakewalked this guy. She cakewalked him. And then even Buddy said she drew it this way, and I'll make this quick, and then boom, drawing up 3 of them and just let them completely devastate this boss monster, drawing 3 of them. And then she finally goes up to the top of the staircase. We find the first rift, and that's the end of the chapter. Mission complete. Fuse apparently was fine. Now, I said at the beginning my feelings towards the hiatus notice, but that was the end of the chapter and the end of the review. Now, the hiatus notice goes on to say that the webcomic will be on hiatus, not ended, but will be on hiatus until further notice. So that's why I said I hesitated. I waited to see if this was just, not a spur of the moment decision, but one of those decisions made under emotional decisions, made under duress. One of those, like, this was said, that was said, that was said, that was said. Then they said the last shit, and then boom, things get said that people don't mean. They're just like, fuck it. And, they say it in the moment, and they don't really mean it after a while, but that's why I waited so long. But apparently, Band goes on to say, I do not know if or when the series will return, but this is goodbye. Thank you for understanding and happy holidays. Of course, this was on December 28th. This was released. So that's all he says. Now, in the Discord, he makes a very lengthy, a couple of paragraphs to explain how he's truly feeling about the situation, and he is definitely taking a high ground, a good moral standpoint, I would say. As I said, as a fan of this series, as a fan of the improvement of his artwork and the storylines, and just watching him improve and doing something that I've always wanted to do myself, I felt almost a little personally attacked in a way, which I don't know why, but it just seemed like both I think I can speak for Misk and myself when I say we were very disappointed and butthurt and angry, and pissed off to learn that Band had done this. And Band did not just do this on a whim, and Band certainly just didn't do this because he felt like it. Regardless what he might say and who he might forgive and yada yada yada, water under the bridge attitude that he is, he's a very chill guy, but definitely disappointed. And as I said, personally attack's a little strong. Just like, it's sort of like I was enjoying this, I was reviewing this, and now it's cut short because of some dickheads, sort of idea. So unfortunately, it is official. It is a hiatus. I waited as long as I could to review it. I even waited an extra week. I was going to review this last week, but then I got caught up doing other things anyways. And, just sort of that whole nugget in the back of your head, like hoping that 1% benefit of the doubt, maybe it'll come back, maybe I'll hear something, get added in the server comic, but it didn't happen. So, but if this is our last chapter, unfortunately, it so far is. I was enjoying the story, the artwork was improving, I was liking the characters, I don't know what else to say. Because it's not finished, the arc's not even really underway yet. This isn't a cliffhanger, this is a hiatus, so there's no real way for me to talk about the series as a whole right yet, because I feel like there's too much unanswered to judge it based on 1 through 19, for me personally. I think it was a good start, but unfortunately there's not enough there for me to really, give a full judgment call on it, unfortunately. So, anyways, that's the review, that's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Shout outs to Bam Marsh for making this comic as long as he did. And sorry that he felt like he wasn't being appreciated enough and had to end it. So, due to some dickwads, is what it is. But, and they know who they are. They know they fucked up. So, I guess water under the bridge, as the man himself said. So, like, comment, subscribe as always. We'll see you back here next time. Not for this, but I'm sure for other future content. And, yeah, it is what it is. Hope you guys had, as Ben said, a good Happy Christmas, good Happy New Year's. Hope your holidays were enjoyable. And hope you've been enjoying 2022 thus far. We're not even a month in yet. And so far, well, people have died. I was going to say nobody died, but, I think we're doing okay. I haven't heard of it too much death and destruction yet, so, alright, good start, baby steps, right? We'll see what happens. Anyways, have a good one, everyone. Bye.